Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to welcome you to our Startup Breakfast. Today we will talk about paid marketing, and therefore we have a special guest, our dear colleague Rita Katona. Before we get started, please keep your microphones muted until we start the Q&A session. If you have a question, you can raise your hand or just use the chat function. So grab your coffee, tea, or whatever you prefer, and let's get started and enjoy the event.
Thank you, Katja. Can you hear me? Yeah, awesome. Good. I will try to share my screen and then we can get started. Yeah, so also from my side, welcome everyone at the Startup Breakfast. Thank you for the lovely introduction, Katja. Yeah, normally this event would be happening at ZOLLHOF and we would have some nice coffee and croissant all together. But yeah, let's hope that it will be possible again next year. So now it's an online edition. And still, I really hope that you will be able to get something from this session. We will have a longer Q&A session at the end, where we can also chat about your business or your questions. So today's topic is paid marketing, or as we often call it in the marketing world, performance marketing. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of insights in two specific channels. Actually, there will be three. I saw from the answers that some of you don't have any experience with the paid marketing. Some of you already do. So anyway, I tend to get into some details and maybe technical stuff. So whenever you have a question, please raise hand. It's you find the button in the middle of the panel, and then you can ask questions. Otherwise, I will try to explain every specific phrase, so it would be not too marketingish. And yeah, let's get started. I don't know why. Okay. Cool. So just a couple of things about myself. Like, some of you know me, some of you don't. I've been with ZOLLHOF Tech Incubator for 2.5 years now. My current title is Growth Specialist. I started in marketing. I was leading the marketing team for a while, but then I wanted to give more space and time to startups and innovation projects, like building products from scratch. Yeah, that's why we changed my title and also tasks, and that's what growth specialists mean. I've been in marketing for more than 9 years. Was involved in more than 15 startup projects, operationally as founder, marketer, or freelancer, mostly being responsible for the marketing or sales side of the businesses. And then I figured a couple of years ago that I really like the early stage startups and early stage projects where you can get your hands dirty. And also I've been running performance marketing or paid marketing campaigns for the last 8 years. And so I wanted to focus on these topics. A couple of years ago, I started mentoring startups. There are a lot of different programs around the world, around Europe. The most well-known, most known one I was working with was Techstars here in Berlin. Startup Wise guys, they are mostly in Estonia and around that area. but I coached more than 120 tech startups. It's mostly like a one-time session, but sometimes even more times where we just set to-dos and talk about marketing. So that's about myself. Let's get started with the topic itself. So as I said many times, the terms performance marketing and paid marketing are used as synonyms. And so the official definition is that the performance marketing refers to online marketing and advertising programs in which advertisers pay marketing companies or platforms when a specific action is completed, such as a click, lead, or sale. Yeah, so in this case, advertisers are basically you or like small businesses, startups who would pay platforms, for example, or on platforms like Facebook or Instagram to run paid advertisement. Very important here is what I always think about as first when I hear the word performance marketing or online marketing in general, that it should be tracked, meaning it should be measured, because it's not only those business bit, it should not be only the business data you see at the end of the day, like how many, I don't know, how many cups you sold on your e-commerce shop, but like who were those people who bought those cups, where they came from, how long they stayed on the website, and so on and so forth. So that's why all these channels are super interesting, because, and that's the the next slide, why it is all useful for startups. So normally it can be set up very fast. Like, for example, I've seen startups saying, well, I don't have anyone for marketing in my team. We are just 2-3 people together. But I really want to test Facebook, for example, as a marketing channel and run some test campaigns. And it is actually not that difficult as many people think. So you can just set up an ad account and start running your campaigns basically within 1 day. The traffic, so the pool of users you can send to your website or to your app via these channels is normally very well targeted. I will talk about it a little bit later. Like there is a lot of opportunities depending on the channel to pick people that should be relevant for your business and that should see these paid marketing ads. As it is a fast way of generating traffic and sending users on your site, you can test different things with these ads. Like, for example, many early stage projects or startups are still about figuring out their USPs, like unique selling points. So what are the most important problems they are solving for their customers? And normally they have different hypotheses about these things. Like the most attractive thing is the very low price we offer, or is it like a very specific problem we are solving? And then you can actually set up some campaigns and test these different things while targeting relevant people for your business. Or even you can run A/B testing, which is a little bit of a more statistically accurate thing, using these platforms and really see, okay, the same amount of people go on my website or on my landing page. And in a variant of the landing page, like everything is green and like greenish designed, and the other variant is red. So and then you will see in the end if it makes any difference for people in terms of purchasing your product or signing for your newsletter, for example. And yeah, it is very important that you see the tracking option, you use the tracking option, meaning that as everything is happening online, you can track like, okay, who clicked on my ad, how long they stayed on my website, what they have done, and that's why you will be able to gain more additional data about your customers and target group, for example, about their demographical characteristics, like how old they are, where they live, and so on and so forth. Or you can also identify things regarding your page, for example, if it doesn't load very fast. So many people leave before they even check out your website, or there is some problems with the structure of the website, and then you would see in your analytical tool that that people don't find some things, for example. So the question is, what always comes up when we talk about it, especially for early stage businesses, is okay, we don't have capacity and budget for everything. So which platforms or channels should we use and try? I would say normally with for most of the startups I worked with, the channels Facebook, Instagram, the Google tool, especially the Google search tool, would be very interesting to or was very interesting to try out to generate some traffic. And when it comes down to B2B businesses, I would rather say, like, okay, I've seen B2B campaigns performing very, very good on Facebook, for example, or even on Instagram. But I would rather say by default, you should take your time more and build up a good LinkedIn presence organically, not necessarily running ads, because they are super expensive. I will share a couple of numbers later, but maybe don't focus on Facebook and Instagram. The Google search itself, so when people just go on Google and search for specific terms, could be also very beneficial for B2B startups, because you can pick those keywords, like what things and words are specifically searched by people. So many times it's also beneficial and recommended to try for B2B businesses. So for today, as I said, I picked 3 of those channels, the most common ones we work with when it comes down to early stage startups. So one is Facebook, the other one is Instagram, even though especially from the advertising point of view, those guys are together. So for me, it's basically almost one platform, even though those are two tools or apps. And the third one is Google search, for the reason I just explained before. So yeah, just a couple of interesting data about Facebook, because I keep hearing, yeah, no one is using Facebook anymore. It's like it's not very popular, especially among young people, and so on and so forth. So Facebook has still growth, and a quite significant one. It's a data from Q2 2020, 2.7 billion monthly active users are on Facebook still, but the demographical data is changing a little bit. So only 25% of users are between 25 and 34. It used to be a little bit more as it's going. I mean, the users pool is aging a little bit, which was quite surprising to me, that 65% of people in the age group from 50 to 64 use Facebook. It was not like this 10 years ago. And surprisingly, the fastest growing age group on Facebook now is the 65 plus. So elderly people are using more and more the tool itself. It's very important to keep in mind also when it comes to paid advertising, because like the more you are addressing these people, the more impressions, the more reach you can get on the platform. A little bit about the ad data. So on average, a user clicks 11 times on an ad per month. It was quite surprising to me. I was expecting a little bit of a lower number, but yeah, so there are still a lot of people clicking on ads. Yeah, we live in a mobile first world, so it's not so surprising that 94% of the users, monthly active users, use Facebook mobile phone. And there was a survey which was completed recently that says 26% of users who ever clicked or who tend to click on Facebook ads actually already purchase something, or they regularly purchase or buy things after clicking an ad on Facebook. The next slide is about Instagram. Also a couple of data. Now we reached more than 1 million monthly active users worldwide. Yeah, it's a younger platform in terms of audience. 71% of the users and accounts, private accounts, are held by people who are under 35. And there is already 21 million users in Germany. The growth is quite rapid still. So the still sort of coming platform in Germany. The average time spent on Instagram is also interesting. The users that are younger, under 25, tend to spend more time on Instagram, on average 32 minutes per day. And the older users above 25, it's a little bit less, an average 24 minutes per day on the platform. Yeah, the new thing about videos, and that's also very interesting for marketers when it comes to pick the ad types, that videos are created crazily for Instagram. Obviously, it's also the result of the story story option, and that there are many stories created. There were 400% more videos created over the past 12 months than in the same period before, which is quite a crazy number. In terms of advertising and marketing, there are now 2 million active advertisers, so 2 million active companies that are running ads or using Instagram ads in a way on the platform. And 72% of all Instagram users already purchased a product that was advertised on the platform. It was also quite surprising to me, because it's a quite high number. And 33% of all marketers invest assets in Instagram ads, which was also a little bit surprising that, like, out of all marketers and businesses, 33% think that that it's worth it at least to try Instagram ads, or that they are running Instagram ads regularly. So I would give you a couple of like basic information and tips for these two platforms when it comes to building campaigns and using them for paid advertisement. And yeah, the first one is please don't use the button boost this post on Facebook, because it's a very limited opportunity to run the ad. So the ones who might not know what I'm talking about, when you have your business page and you create organic posts, like posts for your business page, there is always the option that you can boost this post. But still, it's a quite limited opportunity to run an ad. So that's why I always recommend to get familiar with the Facebook Ads Manager tool, which is completely free to use for everyone who has a business page on Facebook, and it's also for both Facebook and Instagram ads. That's how it looks like. I just took a screenshot from the ZOLLHOF account. There is a couple of different options, and for sure it takes a while to get familiar with the Ads Manager tool in general. But it's really worth it. Like, you see more performance data about your ads. It's much it's easy to create campaigns. It's easy to create different audiences, like different targeting groups. It just takes a couple of hours to get familiar with, and but there is like unlimited amount of YouTube tutorials for that. So I would say it for an average startup person, it takes like maybe up to 5-6 hours to get familiar with the tool and to be able to use it for campaigns already. Which is very powerful on these platforms. I mean, Facebook and Instagram. So you probably know the phrase like if you are an average Facebook or Instagram user, these tools know more about yourself than about you about yourself, more or less, because and they analyze all the behavior, they analyze your data, and that's why on the other side, for marketers like myself, there is a lot of data we can utilize when it comes down to targeting, like to defining different target groups and users we want to show our ads to. For example, a couple of examples I've seen working very well. For example, you can target parents of newborn babies specifically, or people who are far away from their families, or people who are interested in sustainability and green solutions, or medical students. So depending on your business and on your product, there is a lot of opportunities to try. And when it comes to different audiences, so the targeting types, you can also try different methods. I always recommend to start with interest or demography based targeting. That's what I I just explained. So the interest could be like, okay, people interested in sustainability, as I mentioned, or demography, like, okay, they live in Nuremberg or close by. And you can also, of course, combine these things and even target people who are, I don't know, living in big cities in Germany, are interested in I don't know, green solutions, and also in startups and technology. So if you sell something like that, then it would be an interesting audience to try for you. The next tip is about custom audiences. So if you it's a different type of targeting. If you have some data already, like about people who bought some of your products, or people who signed up for your newsletter, and you think they are highly relevant, you can grab these data with that's normally the email address that Facebook would need for that. You can upload it on the Facebook Ads Manager tool, and then you can sort of target these people. So normally users that already know your business are more interested in your services or in your product, and are more likely to interact with your business. And then the third one, which is also interesting, but you need normally you need a bigger data set for that, is lookalike audiences. So, for example, you have you grabbed already a long list of people who purchased a product in your e-commerce shop, maybe 1,000 of them, and then you upload this list. So it's going to be a custom audience list, and then you say, hey, Facebook, please create a bigger target group, a bigger audience based on this this data I just uploaded on this custom audience, and then give me a sample of I don't know, 10,000 potential users from that. Because then in this case, Facebook will analyze the custom audience, so the already known contacts and users, and will find characteristics and like common characteristics that can be then also identified with other people, other users that look like those contacts. I mean, I don't recommend using this to early stage projects without data, because the more data you have for this sort of audiences, the better it is. But it could be very interesting later on down the road. Some other things, like how it's structured. The Facebook tool, well, the Facebook campaigns are structured in a way that there is a campaign level, and then there is an ad set level, which is the audience or targeting level, and then there is the ad level, where you can define, okay, my ad will be a video ad, and you put there the ad copy and so on and so forth. But on the campaign level, you have to define the goal of the campaign, and there are many of them. But for the beginning, I always recommend to pick either awareness or traffic or conversions, depending. So if you pick awareness or traffic, Facebook will show the ad to people who are obviously in your targeted target group, in your targeted audience, but who are more likely to click for example, when your goal is traffic, or if it's awareness, then it's a sort of branding campaign, like people who tend to remember businesses or brands a couple of days or weeks later. They will be more likely to see your ads. When it comes to conversions, for example, conversion could be a sale on your e-commerce shop. I just talked to our Facebook marketing manager, and he said, yeah, normally he recommends the goal conversions for businesses that have at least 50 conversions per week. So in this case, 50 people who purchase products on their site, because then Facebook will have enough data to analyze those people who would convert on the website, and then tries to show the ad to those ones with similar characteristics. When it comes down to audience size, so in the tool, once you put in all your targeting options, for example, I want to show my ad to people who are between 18 and 25 years old, who live in London and 200 kilometers around, who are interested in I don't know, skiing, because I'm selling winter ski coat or something like that. So at the end of the definition of your audience, you will see an estimated number of people. You see here on the screenshot potential reach 170K people, which is just an estimated audience size by Facebook. And also taking into consideration your budget, your ad account, and your historical data, it estimates to reach 2.1K with 5.9K people per day, and link clicks between 8 and 25. I mean, the ranges are really big, but what is always interesting here is the potential reach, so how big the audience is. And yeah, according to the last Facebook data, it should be at least 100,000 people in your audience to start, because then you won't pay so much more for a micro audience sort of size, and the algorithm will have enough data to optimize. Other best practice is on the ad set level. You define your audience, you define your target group, and it should be normally at least 2 to 3 ad sets, so different target groups per campaign, to give the tool the chance to test those audiences to those target groups against each other. And then when it comes to down to ads, ideally you have 3 different ads per ad set, so per audience. We normally set up like one static image, like which is a banner or an image, and then carousel ads. You probably know those ones that you can just swipe, and then you can even communicate a story under the different pictures, or just use different USPs and communicate more about your business. What is working most of the time the best in terms of ad types is video, short or longer videos, depending on your goal. So normally if you have a video about your business, or you can even just create one with your mobile phone, it shouldn't be like TV quality. Videos tend to be more engaging, especially for younger audiences. What is really important here is that you have just 1-2 seconds to grab the attention of people, because they are on their feet and just checking out different things. So it should start very dynamically and with a message, or even with a question which is concentrated on the problem that your target audience have. And the other important thing is to use subtitles. Like still, most of the people, especially on Facebook, watch videos on mute. So it's super important to use subtitles all the time when you run ads and pay money for those ads. Unless you set up like a very specific A/B testing campaign, Facebook will optimize these ads by themselves. So even after 100 impressions, so after the ad was shown 100 times, the algorithm starts optimizing and will show the most engaging type of ads to the users. So that's why even after a while, if you have 3 different types of ads, you could see, okay, for my target audience XYZ, the video ad is working much better than the other ones, because it also gets more impressions generated by Facebook or Instagram. When it comes down to budget, it depends very much where you are targeting, and how big your target audience is, and so on and so forth. But Facebook recommends now is that you invest at least 30 to 40 euros per day in even in a test campaign, in order to generate traffic, in order to generate learnings out of the campaigns. And I always recommend to run the campaigns at least for a week. So then you might see differences over the weekend or in the evening, and so on and so forth. So, and then in the end, you have enough data to analyze. I always get the question from startups. Okay, is there any startup specific support package from Facebook, Instagram, or like how can we get some help? So the answer is, by default, there is no support for startups or a specific program. But there is a dedicated team for small ad accounts, starting from a couple of 100 euros monthly at Facebook, and they keep analyzing these small accounts, and they might just send you an email after a couple of months saying, hey, I'm XYZ, would be your Facebook marketing manager. I saw you have been running ads, and I have a couple of tips and other other best practices or methods you could try. I would love to set up a call with you. And then once you reply, you sort of have an account manager for a while. They are not always easy to reach, especially they are like you cannot call them, just email them. But most of the time they can share very valuable insights. So whenever you guys run ads and get an email from one of those managers, I highly recommend to talk to them. So that was the Facebook Instagram topic in a nutshell. Question is, yeah, if you have a question about these topics for now, before I go on with Google, if you do, just click raise hand, and then you can unmute yourself. Girls?
So
yeah,
I can't see no raised hand.
okay, cool. Then I would just go on, because we also have time at the end to talk about these topics.
But we have two comments.
Yep.
One is great insights. Thank you so far, Rita. And very interesting. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So yeah, let's go on. Thank you, Katja. Let's go on with Google. I picked from the Google tool. Hi. Can you?
Hi. We can see ourselves.
Okay, that's nice, but you
Now
should.
it's working.
Okay. Yeah, might be my internet here. So about Google, I still recommend to try Google search, which means the user goes on Google, types in something in the search bar, and gets the results. Everyone knows Google search, and in order to get there are two options for businesses. First, you optimize your texts and copies and your website for organic search, which means that your site will be highly relevant, seen by Google, so you can rank organically. It's completely for free, but it normally takes a while, and especially for search terms or keywords, we call them, that are very very popular. It's very hard to get among the first listed results, and that's why there is a faster way of doing that, and that's called Google Search Ads, which I will be talking about in a little while. But first, just a couple of interesting data about Google search in general. So there is 77,000 searches per second around the world, and now the ratio changed already a couple of years ago. So already 63% of all searches are via mobile device. And interestingly, the most searched keywords, so the search terms that people put in on Google in 2019 were brand keywords, like Facebook is the number one, followed by YouTube and Amazon. And yeah, out of all people who use Google, 84% of users search at least 3 times per day using Google. 67% of clicks go to the first 5 results. That's interesting also for marketers, because even though you put a lot of money, a lot of time in optimizing your page, and then you end up organically on the first result page, but you are still I don't know, position 7 or 8. It's still a very little chance for you that you will get a click from the user. 90% of pages get zero organic traffic from Google. That's what I just explained. And 50% of search queries are 4 words or more. So you know those people, maybe you are one of them, who would type in whole long questions and sentences in Google search. It's getting more and more popular. A couple of interesting insights about the price. So on Google search, if you are running campaigns, you always pay per click. So your ad will be shown if you optimized well as the first one or second one of the results. And then once the user clicks on it, you will pay for that. It works like a marketplace, sort of. So there is advertisers, there is businesses running for the first, second, and third position. And the more the more they bid, so the more they are ready to pay for the click, the higher the price gets. So yeah, I just took a look at the statistics. I think it's from the US. The keyword business services had the highest CPC, which means cost per click. So that company who made an advertisement for business services paid $58 for 1 click on the ad, and this is just a click. So this user might not be able to take a look at the website, or they just click because they find it attractive, but they are not really interested, and so on. And still, you spend 58 euros as a business when they clicked. Some other ones, for example, the keyword lawyer. It's also super high competitive in Germany, but in the US, obviously more. It's like on average $54 per click. And cleanup and restoration services also made it to the list with an average CPC of $47. So that's obviously super high numbers. That's why I recommend startups to go with very specific keywords and don't book something like keyword just lawyer, but something much more specific, which is unique about their businesses. So here on the you can see an ad. It's from ZOLLHOF. We just had our startup batch, and that's how it looks like, more or less. It can be also much bigger once you integrate some extensions and some more information about your business. Actually, it should be your goal to create the ad as or to put in as much information as possible. Also to take all the space, especially on mobile devices, so your competitors will not be seen once the user searches. Generally speaking, some tips to the Google search ads. Make sure to use an analytical tool, as Google prefers the Google tools. We use Google Analytics, which is linked to the Google Ads tool, and then you can see all the journey and all the things that the user does on your website or ad after clicking on a specific keyword or ad. That's how the tool looks like. It can be also a bit confusing at the first sight. I would say it needs a little bit more time to get familiar with it than the Facebook tool, but it's also doable. And yeah, you might need 2 days to understand how the structure works, but then it is actually quite easy to use. And obviously there is tons of tutorials and information about that, also provided by Google, of course. So in order to avoid paying 50 euros for a click, I would say you should be very careful about the keywords, so about the words that user would search for. You book in the tool, and invest quite some time in analyzing them. So there is, for example, the way of booking these keywords. There are four types you can pick. I recommend in this case to use broad match modifier or exact match. That's how they are called. I'm just yeah, you already see the broad match modifier example under it. So you book the these words. Am I still connected?
Yes, you're back again.
Okay, cool. So, so that means that these words with the plus sign should be in the search term. So, for example, if a user searches for best banana bread recipe, your ad will be shown to them, which is a quite safe bet, especially if you book like 3-4 very relevant words with the plus sign. So you can make sure that that only for the most relevant search terms, keywords, your ad will be shown. The other one is to book exact match keywords, they are called. So here you see an example, shoes for man. You can book it, and then, for example, if a user searches for men's shoes, your ad will be shown. But if there is something extra around that, for example, red shoes for men or shoes for men for free, your ad won't be shown. That's also a quite safe way of avoiding non-relevant traffic. But for that, you should book every sort of combination which you think that is relevant for your business, which is a little bit more time at the beginning. And the other thing is use a keyword planner tool. There are many of them around, but I just recommend to use the Google tool, which is also for free. And when you use the ad tool itself, that yeah, how it works is that you put in a couple of ideas that you have and the most relevant words for your business, and then the keyword tool will show you if there is at least some amount of traffic, some amount of people looking for those keywords in general. You can check it for worldwide, or only for Germany, or only for a specific region, and also you can set different time frames. So it's a very useful information at the beginning. And some more things, as I mentioned before, not only for organic traffic and organic ranking, but also for ads. It's very important that your ad copy, so what you are communicating in the text, is related to the keyword or to the search term that people looked for. So it will be, I mean, there is a higher chance that that the user will click on it. And of course, it's also analyzed by Google, like how relevant your ad could be for that keyword, because obviously Google makes money if the user clicks. And also, Google will analyze your landing page or your website. So wherever you are sending these people clicking, if the text and copy on that is relevant for the keyword. There is a way of excluding traffic, excluding like keywords that should not be relevant for you. For example, if you are selling something like books, and then you you book the keyword books for kids, and then you obviously don't have anything to give away for free, then you would book the negative keyword free or gratis or something like that. And then that means that your ad won't be shown for those who look for books for free, for example. When it comes down to Google search, the most important targeting criteria are the keywords themselves, so what people are looking for, the language they understand and they use with their searches and in their browsers, and the location where they are. There is a couple of extra things that you can find on the Google tool, like interest and age and so on and so forth. But Google still doesn't have enough information in the ads tool to optimize for that criteria. And as I mentioned before, and also what you can see on the picture here, are the different ad extensions, so-called, so like extra information about your business. You should just fill out all of them when before you start running your campaigns, because then your ad will be bigger, and also you communicate more about your business. So normally the user tend to click more on businesses where he knows more about already. So that was it in a nutshell. I really hope that it was not too much information. So just one offer from our side. So if you need some help with your paid marketing or just marketing in general or strategy, I do offer a free call for 30 minutes. It's normally enough just to clarify a couple of basic questions, or just to look at Facebook campaign briefly and so on. So in case you are a small business or early stage startup and you are interested, just send me an email. You will also get the slides and a follow-up email with this information. So in case you are interested, please send me an email in the next couple of weeks, and then we can just set up a free call and see how you are doing business-wise. But for now, thank you for your attention, and yeah, I'm happy to have a conversation and get questions in case you have some.
Oh, thank you, Rita.
Thank you for the attention. I'm gonna stop sharing if it's okay. All right, so.
Was there a question? Okay, in the chat, they say, well, many thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time and presentation. You can raise your hand actually if you want to ask something, or just unmute yourself.
So I
Okay,
have a question actually.
good.
What was your biggest lesson learned while while you're did some experiences in all this paid marketing sector? So what were you like, have a look backwards? Wow, that was an important lesson, maybe you based on a mistake or something like that.
Yeah,
So this would be for me quite
yeah,
interesting.
there is always some fuck ups when it comes to startups, and there is one particular one which was crazy. So I was working for Rocket Internet,
Mhm.
and for a venture of them, and there was already quite a good amount of money to be spent on performance marketing, and we had an app for a while. We only had an app, so we were running Facebook ads and wanted people to download the app.
Mhm.
It was about ordering food in the app, and then you get it like within 15 minutes. And so we had like nice targeting, lot of like different tests set up and everything. But I forgot I was like still a junior and was playing around the Facebook tool, was to exclude people who would not be on Wi-Fi with their mobile devices.
Mhm.
Because if you want someone to download an app, that's fine. We were also only targeting people who were on their mobile devices. But still, the app itself was quite big, especially it was like 6 years ago or so. And then it takes a while anyway to download.
Mhm.
And normally, I don't know, like I think not many people download apps when taking the subway or something. So
Yeah, yeah.
quite big amount of money spent on these campaigns, and then we figured out, okay, 80% of the people who clicked install were not on Wi-Fi, and so therefore maybe 2% of them downloaded the app. So
Oh,
so we
all
had
right.
so we had a goal of, okay, maximum of 10 euros per app download, and we
Mhm.
ended up paying 120 per app download. So
Wow.
it was a big lesson learned, and I mean, uh, the startups I talk to most of the time are not backed by Rocket Internet, so they cannot allow themselves to spend so much money on ads. So you have to figure out about this. Actually, it's completely logical. It's just the fact that no one thought about that.
Very interesting. So it's very important to narrow your target group very specifically, to not ending up spending or
Yeah,
wasting some
yeah,
money.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. That
yeah,
was interesting. I
yeah.
think there is a second question
Yeah.
in the chat.
Yes, it's by Sonia, and she asks, how would you recommend setting the paid budget for the first campaign if there are no historical data?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, it would be like 30, 40 euros per day would be a good start. And then run the campaign at least for 1 week. And then in terms of audiences, like I would try at least 2 or 3 target groups, like different targetings, and then at least 3 different types of ads. So like a static image, a carousel ad, and a video maybe if you have. And then depending on your business model, like if it's, for example, a B2C e-commerce business, then like globally operating online, I would just go with traffic. So first, people would be seeing the ad who are in your target group and also are likely to click, so they can just learn more about your business. And then if you generate already conversions, so purchases on your website, ideally 50 per week, then you can switch to conversion optimization in terms of campaign goal. I really hope I answered your question, at least partly. Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I have another question. Do you think you can be very successful if your marketing campaign or like your video is very basic, but you reach the right people?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it all comes down to the question of, okay, what problem my product is solving. Like if there is like a very specific target group with a big pain, and you just communicate properly, also in the ad text, it could be super good for them. There are, of course, age groups or like target groups with specific characters that are more engaging than others. For example, what I've seen often so far is that parents or new parents are super engaging when it comes down to like anything about the baby or even nutrition and so on and so forth. And then in that case, it's, for example, quite successful normally if you provide knowledge, like in a cool video. I mean, it doesn't have to be like high quality thing, but you are an expert of your product, or maybe in this case like baby nutrition, and then you just share some insights, like just taken by with a camera, and then it can be quite engaging, and people would click on it.
Okay.
But obviously, especially from the younger from the youngsters like millennials and and Gen Z, most of them or many of them are avoided by ads, and they don't tend to click so much. But still, if your targeting is very specific and you are reaching the right people, they can get interested.
Okay. Thank you for your answer.
You're welcome.
So I guess we don't have any more questions. Then oh yeah, we do have one.
Rita, I want to know, how do you keep up with the changes in the field of marketing? Like it constantly changes every day. Is something new. Like, how do you know what the customer wants today? So I mean, it's I can be very honest with you. Like, I spent the last 2 days on new statistics about these guys on like because obviously we, as you also know, we run ads constantly on these channels, but still you have other things to do as well, and you are not always up to date, and you don't use every single type of targeting and ads and so on. So in my case, our account managers help a lot. So, for example, I had a call with the Facebook guy on this Monday, and I was specifically asking him questions for this workshop. Because they are pretty much not doing anything else but this, but also like Googling like the newest YouTube videos. There is marketer, like influencers or people who provide knowledge for free and up-to-date knowledge. Like, I basically don't watch any tutorial which is older than 1 year or like less. Maybe not even older than half a year. So if you work in that field, I guess at least 20-30% of your time is about researching and keeping up with the updates. Same thing if I talk to startups and I know, they are specifically
interested in LinkedIn ads and so on, I still dedicate 1 hour before our talk to get into the newest things in LinkedIn. And yeah, that's it. Just time and research.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a little question too.
Yeah.
So what you say is that at the beginning, the impressions are more important than the clicks themselves, or the click-through rate, or all the other statistics?
Depends. So I guess we are talking about Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Yeah. So I would, yes, like I recommend mostly to go for awareness at the beginning. So then the people who click and check out your website are actually the more interested ones, obviously. And then based on that data, Facebook can optimize itself and search more for those people who tend to do that. And also you can grab this data and build like extra audiences. So, for example, later on, you have a set of, I don't know, 2,000 people who have visited your website, and then you can retarget them. You can just set up a video or some like different ads with extra information about your business, and I was gone for a second.
Yes. Can you repeat the last sentence, please?
Yeah, so I just asked if it answered his question.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. So there is another one in the chat. Do you have statistics, man, female, by channel, Instagram, Facebook? Yes, on Instagram, it's sort of evenly. I think 48, 52%. It's what I've seen. And Facebook, I think, if I remember well, like 60-something% female, so a little bit more ladies. But in terms of purchasing things, and especially when it comes to software or digital products, men are more likely to purchase and to interact with brands. But obviously, it depends on the target group, because, for example, in terms of parents, the mothers are normally more engaged with many products.
And there's one more question in the chat.
Yeah.
You did not talk about LinkedIn ads. Do you have experience with them? If yes, what do you think?
Yes, we do run LinkedIn ads with ZOLLHOF, at least. Yeah, I did not talk about it in the end for a reason, because it's like as with Facebook and Instagram, the targeting options are super good. Like you can even tell, okay, I wanna target employees of XYZ companies, like specific companies, or people with the job title CEO, CMO, and so on. But therefore, they tend to be very expensive. So I can share some numbers with you. We are targeting startups, so startup CEOs, like early stage projects on LinkedIn, and we pay on average more than €8 per click, and more than €30 per 1,000 impressions. So if it comes down to showing the ad 1,000 times, it's not necessarily 1,000 different people, but 1,000 times the ad is shown. We pay more than €30 for that. And obviously also the click price is quite insane if you ask me. So that's why I usually don't recommend it to startups unless they have a decent budget. Because I mean, in the end, if you target groups like this, not even CEOs or something of bigger companies, for 30 euros you would have 3 users on the website. So there is not then enough data for LinkedIn to optimize your ads. That's why I find LinkedIn super good and super important, but for organic marketing. Like you should publish content about your business. You should even like publish short videos, use it as a B2B channel, look for people, maybe come up with some free events or free consultancy you can find people, like interested people for. But with low budget, rather don't go with paid ads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you've answered the question. So if there aren't any other questions, I would like to say thank you, Rita, for your time and for your interesting insights and all the great tips about how to use paid marketing. To all of you who are here, I would ask you to give some feedback for us so we can improve our startup breakfasts, for example. And yes, thank you for your time that you've been here, and have a nice day.
Thank you, girls, and thanks everyone for your time. I hope you learned something. And don't be shy to reach out if you want to talk. I'm super happy.
Thank you, Rita.
Thanks. Bye.